of positive feedback. Hi, this is Heather Gilmore again. I've had lots of positive feedback about videos and tutorials that I've put on here, so I thought I'd just continue that. I think it's a good way to kind of bridge school and home because we're using the same vocabulary and terminology at school, and you're using the same at home as well. It's also a good way to have actually see it in motion. It's one thing to read it and then try to do it at home, and rather than see it and be able to mimic it and do the same thing at home. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about Writer's Workshop. We just finished up our My Classroom book, where it's getting them used to one-to-one correspondence when reading, tracing the numbers, getting used to seeing their friends' names, because friends usually are the topic of their stories in Writer's Workshop. So we're showing them where they can find their friends' names in the classroom. There's a lot of resources within the classroom. I have lots of print up, lots of references and resources for them to find. We have back here, I don't know if you can see, we have the linking chart that we use in every station in the classroom, but it's also put up on the wall. And we connect each child's first letter of their name with that letter that is on the word wall. We also, words that we've discussed and learned are up on the word wall as well, like the words the and look and like and see. All of those words are up on the word wall. We'll retire them when we get the majority of the classroom able to spell them and read them on their own. For the ones that don't, we have these cool little word wall books, and they can add that into their word wall book. So when it comes Writer's Workshop time and they need to be able to remember how to spell that word, they can just reference it and it'll be written in their book. Before we retire it, we'll have them write it in the book. So Writer's Workshop time is a time that the kids are going to be working on 3 types of writing: the narrative, opinion, and informational text. And this 6 weeks, we're working on opinion. And because it's so early in the year, basically all I'm asking them is to be able to state how they feel. A little bit later on in this grading period, I'm going to start the ones that are capable, start being able to explain why they feel that way. So we discussed today that an opinion is how you feel. You can feel good about something, or you can feel totally negative towards something. So I like or I don't like. I love or I don't love. We try not to say hate. That's not something that I want them to use in the classroom. That's not a word that I like to hear. So don't like or don't love is what we'll use in place of that. They're all going to get these cool little resources. And every time we go over a specific strategy or skill that I'm looking for, they're going to get to add it. They've got this big pencil, and this is my my prototype, I guess. And this is just a pencil. And so we're going to add on this first one, it says use finger spaces. That's the first skill that I really want them to concentrate on, that they understand that they're writing words, and for their reader to be able to read and understand their words, there need to be spaces. Otherwise, and I do this in the class, and please don't laugh, if they have a long string of words all together, I try to read it and go blah, 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 blah. And it's just something that makes them laugh and makes them go, oh, I forgot my spaces. What we use in the classroom for spaces, I have little erasers that we use at our guided reading table. You can use coins. I have something in here called spacer bears, or just little teeny tiny bears. And after they finish writing a word, they move that bear to the end of that word so that it's a nice space before they begin the next word. So finger spaces. Next thing that we'll do is use the word wall words. So use those that you have in your brain that you have learned, and as well as the ones that are up on the word wall that we're still learning and still trying to gain that automaticity. The next step that they'll be doing is starting every sentence with a capital letter, understanding that it helps your reader understand this is a brand new sentence. I must start it with a capital letter. It's grammatically correct. And then when we get into the narratives, about this time, we'll be using this little sticker that we'll stick on. And it says, use a beginning, middle, and end of my story. So if you start a story about going to the beach, you shouldn't, in the middle of your story, talk about how your dog was running around in your backyard and then you went to Walmart. If you're talking about the beach, the story needs to stay about the beach. We went to the beach. We played in the sand and built a sand castle. Then we went out to eat, or we went to go play a miniature golf. You know, something that focuses on what that main idea of the story, the beach, not these big, huge lapses of time, but it's just something to talk about a part of a vacation or um, going to an amusement park, talking just about that. Kind of like I don't want to say small moment, but just have a focus or topic. Um, then we get into stretching the words. Some of our kids are already ready to start that. They can hear the beginning, middle, and ends of sounds. And our strategy is to say it slow and write what you hear. So if it's not a sight word that they already have in their word bank, then it's a word that they're going to have to stretch. And what I usually do when we come to a word, we make a plan. Before we even start writing, we make a plan and we count how many words are going to be in that sentence. So if I wanted to say the van is driving very fast. So we make that plan. I have 6 and I make them hold up their fingers as we say the sentence. There's 6 words. Then I make them repeat it because I want them to stick in their brain. I don't want them to change their plan midway through. Typically when they do that, then the sentence comes out all garbled and jumbled and they will have totally changed their train of thought and the sentence won't make any sense at all. So the van is driving down the road. Okay. I even changed mine. I started talking. Sorry. So the van is driving down the road. That's 7 words. And if you can't remember it, I'd repeat it again. The van is driving down the road. Okay. I need 7 words. So what's my first word? The. Oh, that's a word I know. So they go and write it. And let me go ahead so you don't have to look at me the whole entire time. And do a screen share. If you'll give me just a second so I can do this. I know that I can. Oh, sorry. Cameraman. Screen share. There it is. Sorry. And we want to do this one. Share. And this is what we were working on earlier today. So let me go to the next screen. Okay, so now you should just be able to see my whiteboard that I have here. And so the van is driving down the road. The van is driving down the road. So our first word is the. These a word I know, but it's the beginning of the sentence. What do I always start my sentences with? A capital letter. So they need to make it a capital T. And then they're going to finish out. I know B is T-H-E. Good. And so now you're going to put a space, and this is where after the E, you would put the penny, you would put the eraser, whatever you're using to kind of mimic a space for them so that they're not running all their words together. The car. Well, car is not one of our sight words. It's not a word that I know, so I'm going to stretch it across my fingers. Now, it's okay if they don't have it spelled exactly the right way. What we're wanting them to do is build confidence in being able to stretch words and spell them phonetically with the sounds that they hear. If we're constantly going back behind them and saying, no, that's not the right way, this is how you spell it, they're not gaining that confidence. They're not going to be ones that will take that risk to write the stories themselves. So allow them that chance to try that. And once they figure out that, hey, I know that word car and it doesn't have that sound in the middle, even though it sounds like it, they'll figure it out on their own. Let them discover and kind of take ownership of learning rather than you constantly going back and saying, this is how you spell it. This is how you spell it. This is building risk-taking, and that's what we want these kids to do, not to be afraid to take a risk and take a chance to do something on their own, building that independence. So when they stretch the word car, they're going to say it slow and write what they're hearing. While they're saying the sounds, they're counting the number of sounds they hear in that word. So we're going to stretch the word car. So they're going to say it very slow. I hear 3 sounds, so they should have 3 fingers held up. Make them stretch it again. 3 sounds. So then you ask them, what's the first sound you hear? So they may say K. That's fine if they put a K. Some of them may automatically know it's a C. So now, okay, you got your beginning sound. So let's keep stretching it. Now, I know you're going to want them to put an A, but let them, because they know that sound, that O makes that sound, let them put that O. That's them building the confidence and using what they know. It's not a big importance right now. R. They should hear that R. Learning about like R-controlled vowels, that's a little bit later down the road, so it's not something that's developmentally appropriate for kids in kindergarten. So let them have that O in the middle. Then something else that I always say, good writers always do what? And their response should be, go back and read. Every time you add a new word, you're going back and reading so that you're adding the right word for the next word. If they don't go and read, their brain may work faster than their hand, and they may have the wrong word there, and their sentence won't make sense. So they should go back and they should point, and it's going to pop up a dot as I point on the board. The car, and the next word is. So put their space, their penny goes after the R. Is. Is a word I know. I-S, is. Let them say it out loud. That is how they've learned these sight words, by saying them and just having that automaticity in their brain. We've used it with magnetic letters. We've done it when we write. I make them say the letters of the sound and the letters of the word, and then say the word after them. So I-S, is. This is when you go. Good writers always do what? And they're going to say, go back and read. The car is driving. Now, some of the kids will have that developmental understanding the blends, that DR at the beginning. That's great if they do. But developmentally, the majority of the kids don't have that DR sound. So they're going to hear a J sound. That is fine. Let them have that J sound, because that's the closest sound that they hear that they know. So the car is driving. Let's stretch that word driving. Driving. I hear 6 sounds, so they should have 6 fingers. Most of them are going to hear that J sound instead of the DR. So do J, I, V, E, G. And then they go back and check it. Driving. Driving. Awesome. Good writers do what? Go back and read. The car is driving down. Down is the next word. Some of them may know it. Some of them may not. So this may be another word that they stretch. Down. Now, some of them have heard me say that owl sound is an O-W together. Some of them may go off on their own and just say it's an O. So down. So write it as, say it slow and write what you hear. Down. Down. Good. Go back and read. The car is driving down the. That's a word I know. Put your penny after it. The. T-H-E. The. The car is driving down the road. Road's not a word I know, so I'm going to say it slow and write what I hear. Ode. They don't know about vowel patterns in that O and A together, so let them just have that O. Ode. Ode. Okay? Go back and read. The car is driving down the road. Now, I know that my sentence is finished. You may need to ask them, how do we tell our reader that our sentence is finished? They should say, put a period. We ask, why do we put it there? And it's a way to let the reader know that that thought has stopped. Now I'm moving on to the next thought. A lot of them will just say it means to stop, kind of take a pause or a break in your reading. Something else, before they write, I always encourage them to draw, because that is a way to help the students have a graphic organizer. And I know that's kind of crazy to think kindergartners using graphic organizers, but it's a way for them to get their thoughts together and organize them there before they start writing. So let them draw, let them put as many details as they can in the picture. So when it comes time for them to write, that plan, that just like we made with the car is driving down the road, is solid, and it's supported by the picture, which is also going to help them keep on track when they're writing those words. If you have any questions, let me know. This is just a quick little glimpse into what we do in a writer's workshop. thank you so much for everything you do, because we are making such great strides in the classroom, and I hope that we continue to do that. That's all. Let's see. All right. Thank you.